The interview room felt colder than it should have, even with the sun spilling through the glass walls of the downtown tower. Daniel Harris straightened his worn blazer and folded his hands, trying to ignore the faint coffee stain near the cuff. Across the table, three executives glanced at their notes, their expressions polite but distant. Daniel had already seen that look too many times. It was the look that said, "You're not what we're looking for." He answered every question honestly, maybe too honestly. When asked about gaps in his resume, he didn't dress it up. He talked about late nights working 2 jobs, about learning new skills online after his son fell asleep, about choosing stability over ambition because someone had to be home when the school bus dropped off. He didn't mention the eviction notice from 2 years ago or the nights he skipped dinner so his son could eat. He smiled when it was over, thanked them for their time, and stood before they could say the words out loud. "We'll be in touch," one of them said, already closing a folder. Daniel nodded. He shook their hands, picked up his thin portfolio, and walked out without looking back. He didn't wait for the elevator. He took the stairs, each step heavier than the last. By the time he reached the lobby, his phone buzzed with a reminder, "Pick up Lucas 4 p.m. He exhaled slowly. Another interview failed. Another hope quietly shelved. He pushed through the revolving doors and stepped into the busy afternoon crowd, ready to disappear back into his ordinary life. Inside the boardroom, silence lingered after the door closed. Then a voice cut through it. "Why did you let him leave?" The executives turned. Standing at the end of the table was Richard Vail, the company's founder and Billionaire CEO. He had been listening from the adjoining room, unseen. His eyes were sharp, not angry, but deeply focused. "He didn't meet the criteria," one executive replied carefully. "His experience is unconventional." Richard picked up Daniel's resume and scanned it again. "Unconventional," he repeated. "Or real?" No one answered. Richard remembered his own past too well. A single father himself decades ago, rejected more times than he could count, judged for choosing family over prestige. He saw something familiar in Daniel's voice during the interview. No desperation, no entitlement, just quiet resilience. "Excuse me," Richard said suddenly, already moving toward the door. Moments later, Daniel was halfway down the block when he heard hurried footsteps behind him. "Sir." "Daniel." He turned, startled, as the CEO of one of the largest companies in the city jogged toward him, tie loosened, breath slightly uneven. "I'm sorry," Richard said, catching up. "I should have spoken sooner." Daniel blinked. "Is something wrong?" "Yes," Richard replied. "We made a mistake." Daniel stiffened, bracing himself for a polite clarification, maybe advice. Instead, Richard extended his hand again. "You didn't fail that interview," he said. "We failed to recognize what matters. Skills can be taught. Integrity can't. Grit can't." Daniel's throat tightened. I don't understand." Richard smiled, this time warmly. "I want to offer you the position. And not the one you applied for. A better one. Flexible hours, growth potential, and benefits that make being a dad easier, not harder."